In August 1945, the world witnessed an event that would change the course of history forever: the dropping of atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It marked the first and only time in human history that nuclear weapons were used in warfare. But what led to this fateful decision, and what were its consequences? By 1939, the world was at war. The United States, though initially neutral, would soon join the Allies in their fight against the Axis powers. Meanwhile, in secret laboratories across the US, a group of scientists were working on a weapon so powerful it could end wars. This was the Manhattan Project, a top-secret effort to develop an atomic bomb. The Manhattan Project began after physicists realized that the power of nuclear fission could be harnessed into an unprecedented weapon. Fearing that Nazi Germany might develop the bomb first, the US put its full resources into this scientific race against time. On July 16, 1945, the first atomic bomb was successfully tested in the New Mexico desert. The scientists involved were both exhilarated and terrified by the power they had unleashed. They called it Trinity. But the true test of the bomb's impact was yet to come. While the war in Europe ended in May 1945, the Pacific theater was far from over. The Japanese government refused to surrender despite losing territory and facing immense devastation from US bombing raids. The Allies had hoped that Japan's surrender would come soon after Germany's fall, but Japan's military leaders believed in fighting to the bitter end, even at great cost. In the summer of 1945, President Truman and his advisors were faced with the monumental decision of whether to use the atomic bomb. The bomb was a weapon of mass destruction, capable of wiping out entire cities, but it also promised to bring a swift end to the war. At 8:15 a.m. on August 6, 1945, a B-29 bomber named Enola Gay flew over the Japanese city of Hiroshima. It carried a single bomb, codenamed Little Boy. The bomb detonated at an altitude of approximately 2,000 feet. In an instant, Hiroshima was devastated. The explosion, equivalent to about 15,000 tons of TNT, flattened the city. The blast and resulting firestorm killed an estimated 80,000 people instantly, with tens of thousands more dying from injuries and radiation in the days and weeks that followed. Three days later, on August 9, 1945, a second bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. This bomb, Fat Man, was even more powerful than the first. Though Nagasaki's mountainous terrain somewhat reduced the bomb's impact, the destruction was still immense. The bomb killed an estimated 40,000 people instantly, with total deaths reaching 70,000 due to injuries and radiation. The combined death toll from both bombings, along with the long-term effects of radiation, reached over 200,000. The devastation wrought by the two atomic bombs, combined with the Soviet Union's declaration of war against Japan, finally convinced Japan's leadership to surrender. On September 2, 1945, Japan officially surrendered aboard the USS Missouri, bringing an end to World War II. But the use of atomic bombs would leave a legacy of controversy and fear that persists to this day. The survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, known as hibakusha, suffered lifelong physical and emotional trauma. The world was now faced with the terrifying reality of nuclear warfare, leading to decades of Cold War tensions and a nuclear arms race. The bombings raised moral questions that are still debated today. Were the atomic bombs necessary to end the war? Could Japan have been compelled to surrender through other means? These questions continue to shape our understanding of warfare, ethics, and the future of humanity. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki stand as a stark reminder of the destructive power of nuclear weapons. They led to the formation of global movements for peace and disarmament, as the world strives to ensure that such weapons are never used again. As we reflect on these events, we are reminded of the fragile balance that exists in our world today, a balance between the desire for peace and the fear of destruction. And the lesson from Hiroshima and Nagasaki is clear: the price of war is far too high. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Let us know.